Thank you very much. I appreciate it, Mr. Chairman. Um, Mr. O'Rielly, I'm going to ask you a couple questions, and I appreciate all that you've done to narrow the digital divide and advocate for the truly unserved out there in our rural communities. Although hearing some of the discussion today, I am reminded that sometimes people in my district feel like they're Charlie Brown and the federal government is Lucy. We keep promising and keep promising and we keep promising that we're going to do something on broadband, and we keep pulling the football away. And I think this bill does that too, although I think it's well intentioned. And the problem is, as you have pointed out, that trying to get to 100 of 100 before we get big chunks of my district to 25.3 is it's going to open up the areas where a lot of companies are going to put the money into servicing areas that already have some broadband. We don't have any in many parts of my district. In fact, as it would be timely, the Roanoke Times ran an article this weekend by Amy Friedenberger on March 20th. That would be Saturday. Can Starlink solve Virginia's broadband challenges? And it talks about a Mr. Markham who's called Verizon every couple of years about getting internet cable to his household in Ahala in Wise County, Virginia. The answer is always the same. They'll get it there for $23,000. That's one household. That's not a cul-de-sac. That's not a community. That's one household. And obviously, it's too expensive for Mr. Markham's family to do that. The governor's team, Governor Ralph Northam's chief broadband advisor, Evan Feinman, says that, there's a lot of things that we can be doing. They're a little uneasy about doing the satellites, but there are 300,000 locations in Virginia, mostly in Southwest, that would be mostly my district, and South Side, part of which I represent, and then the Tidewater region that don't have broadband access. And the Commonwealth has been pouring dollars, more and more dollars all along. Another constituent, Mr. Short, lives about 600 feet away from relatives who have broadband through Comcast. Now, I'm not sure it's 100, but he's got something. But for him to get it to his house 600 feet away, it's just too expensive. I fear that we're going to eliminate services like Starlink or their competitors down the road as they come on board from being able to provide in some of these rural areas. And right now, it looks like they might be able, when they get all their satellites up, it might be able to service a big chunk of the territory. But it doesn't look like they're going to be able to. It doesn't look like they're going to be able to do it necessarily the cost-effective means. But I'm not sure they get to the 100. Do you know about that? And do you think that, as you said earlier, do you believe that this is part of why it's going to intensify or widen the divide between those who have broadband and those who don't?
You're absolutely right on the point that parts of Virginia do not have broadband. I visited them myself. I've represented different members over my time praying in my career. The cost of construction to areas such as that you represent are higher than they are in other places. And so the dollars, if the LIFT Act were to be enacted, would shift to other places. And so we would not deal with the communities that you represent. The dollars would go elsewhere. It doesn't mean that eventually they couldn't get to your point, but every time we kind of get to that point to deal with the absolute people who have nothing today, we move the goalposts. We did it when we were at 4-1. We did it when we were at 10-1. We did it when we were at 25-3. And every time we get close, we get down to that population that absolutely has nothing. And I've sat in those kitchens and talked to the people. You represent a lot of those folks. That is absolutely a big, big problem. And that's why my point was get everybody to 25-3 before you figure out how to shift the agenda. But your point in terms of satellite, I'm a big fan of satellite. It's got a critique. A lot of people disagree with the satellite, and I like Starlink and what they're able to do. In terms of 100, I can't promise you any speeds. I don't think they would promise you any speeds. But I know when I did a demo, we got 150 down. We didn't get 150 going up. That's just, the upload speed is what I've been criticizing from the LIFT Act. I don't think it matches up with reality. You don't need synchronous.
All right, quickly, because my time's running out. For folks back home who might think 25.3 is nothing, what can you do with 25.3?
You can do everything that is being done today under pandemic and most everywhere. I was criticized for my speeds in the Senate hearing, and I would tell you, I came back and tested my speeds. I'm at 30. I'm 30 in my household, and I can, operate my business. My wife's operating her work. There's a lot of things that can be done with 25.3.
So we can watch Netflix, and we can do homework, and we can do telemedicine at 25.3.
Absolutely.
I appreciate it very much, Mr. Chairman. I yield back.
Thank you.